The yeses are 12.
The amendment is not agreed to. Senator Cruz, do you have further amendments?
I do. I'd like to call up a Cruz Amendment 1 to S-127. I think all of us are aware that the current condition of the FTC is troubling, to say the least, including with Republican commissioners resigning because they believe the chair is abusing the rule of law. One provision of this bill gives the FTC authority, Section 2 of this bill gives the FTC authority to prohibit, quote, arbitrary, unfair, or deceptive contracts by PBMs. This is a major change from current law. Current law, and the language that the FTC has enforced for a long time, has prohibited unfair or deceptive conduct. The word arbitrary has never been in there. The FTC for decades has a long-established case law on what qualifies as unfair or deceptive conduct, and that case law has effectively circumscribed the FTC's authority to instances of consumer deception. Adding the word arbitrary to the FTC's power could easily be read as a blanket grant of power that would empower the FTC to regulate on matters far outside its expertise, including matters of pricing. It is unnecessary for what this bill is trying to do. And so my amendment's very simple. It simply strikes the word arbitrary and leaves the standard the same as the standard has been that the FTC has been applying for a decade, which is focusing on unfair or deceptive conduct.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. I'm just making sure. You said Cruz 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's a first degree number 1 and a substitute number 1.
I think that's what the confusion is. Do you?
We have not yet. No, it wasn't. We flipped the order, so we haven't voted on the substitute yet. Word arbitrary is the one.
Okay, speaking against the amendment, I just want to clarify so that we know which one we're actually voting on. Removing the word arbitrary can result in an additional loophole to the law that would allow PBMs to engage in clawbacks because they would argue that unfairness only applies to consumers and not to pharmacies. So one of the major issues here is the arbitrary nature of how they are clawing back this information. So working with Senator Grassley on this, I would ask our colleagues to oppose this amendment. Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Klobuchar?
No.
Mr. Schatz?
No.
Mr. Markey?
No.
Mr. Peters?
No.
Ms. Baldwin?
No.
Ms. Duckworth?
No.
Mr. Tester?
No.
Ms. Sinema?
No.
Ms. Rosen?
No.
Mr. Lujan? Mr. Hickenlooper?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
No.
Mr. Welch?
No.
Mr. Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Thune?
Aye.
Mr. Wicker?
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
No.
Mr. Sullivan?
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Budd?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Vance?
Aye.
Mrs. Capito?
No by proxy.
Ms. Lummis?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Lujan?
No.
Ms. Cantwell?
No.
The noes are 16.